problem to the value to product to growth. That is the myth most people, think that exists, which is you build a great thing and people just use it. But unfortunately, that's not really how it works. It requires a lot of thinking and a lot of strategy and a lot of execution. If you look at their history and you worked in the companies during the time that they were growing, you would see that they executed many tactics that sprawled different growth sprints in their timeline. And these growth sprints gave them little uptakes in their user graph where they're growing, and then you see these little step changes. So all companies do not really grow in a linear way. Instead, what they do is they grow in little hills and valleys where they're bumping up and down, up and down, up and down. And the reason for that is because they're executing multiple tactics that grow users. Growth is an innovation and creativity's arms race because there are many things you could be doing, and most of the things that are very effective, someone else has not done before. But as I think about this over time, it is not about growth. It's really building a company is an innovation and creativity arms race. Because in a lot of companies, you might have a department. Maybe it's called the growth team, or maybe it's called the marketing team. And you think to yourself, well, that department is responsible for growing the company. But that is the wrong way to think about it, because growing a company is contribution from every single team member, from every single department, from every single background. So building that culture gives your team the right mindset for everybody to contribute to the correct goal. Have a results-driven team that obsesses about the scale and the urgency of the things they work on. If you want to be a results-driven organization, you'll always want to start with a goal that is measurable before you start thinking about the actions or the tactics you want to execute. Most people fall in love with the tactic, but don't realize what they're actually trying to accomplish because what they want to do isn't measurable. So you always want to start with something that is measurable. You're focused on every amount of energy that you exert as a team, even meetings. So you're constantly thinking about myself is like, am I actually investing my energy into the right appropriate actions and thinking? The thing that we want to build, that's the ideal state. It is about that we have 3 weeks. What is the closest thing we can build that would deliver the same amount of value, but that might not have all the bells and whistles? And what that will do is actually cut out a lot of the noise, and it'll also cut out a lot of the bloat in the solution that you're trying to build. This is critical because most people fall in the trap of how long will this take? Someone might say 6 months, and then they go, okay, let's work on it for 6 months. That is not the way to be aggressive in this space. It is more about saying, we have 4 weeks, what do we do? We have another 4 weeks, what should we do? And constantly revolving and then really encapsulating all of your thinking within a very strict time-bound methodology. So that way you're always trying to deliver within a reasonable time frame and you're constantly iterating. The problem to the value to product to growth. When you solve a problem, you create value. That's what people are talking about all the time when they say you have to create value. You have to create value for users. But often people say that without understanding the problem. So first, you always have a problem. And when you solve that problem, you create value. And what you never ever want to do is skip around. Because when people skip around, and if you get unlucky, which is the most common case, you will miss the key parts of what you're trying to accomplish, and you will be solving for the wrong thing at the wrong time. Most companies fail because they build something that does not solve a problem. So, however, when you do build a product that solves a very specific problem, and it does generate the value when it solves the problem, what you have is what we call product market fit. That means that people are asking to use the thing that you made versus you asking them to use it. That means you have a natural growth in the product. That means your retention rate is higher. That means the percentage of people who use it today keep using it in the future. That is one of the strong signals of product market fit. Once you have product market fit, then you really start thinking about growth and all those things. Your organization's culture today is defined by your past successful decisions. So that means if you want to change your company's culture, you need to start doing those decisions today, because right now the decisions you make will define how your company and how your team and all that stuff works in the future. So start today.